Welcome. Here is the first homework in Chapter 9, but it is the fifth one this year, so I'm just going to call that Homework 5. The instructions say label the three sides and identify the vocab terms. So if this is already written on there, great. If it's not, just jot that down. Okay, so I have a triangle, and because there's a number 27 there, I'm going to put a necklace. It looks like the angle I want to talk about. My reference angle is angle A, which is equal to 27. Now, if your side isn't labeled, you can go ahead and label it. That would help us out. Okay, so A is my reference angle, and it's 27 degrees. That little zero is just a degrees. It's not 270. Okay. Now, my hypotenuse is opposite the box. So I'm going to label that the hypotenuse. Nothing is there, so I'm going to put nothing or a question mark, not sure. And then opposite is opposite the reference angle. So side X is opposite the reference angle. I'm going to label that opposite. And then the side left over will get labeled adjacent. Notice it is adjacent to our reference angle 27. But kids get confused. This side, the hypotenuse, is also adjacent to that reference angle, but I'm not going to call it adjacent because I already called it the hypotenuse. Okay. So these are our vocab terms, and I've identified each one for that problem. Okay, next question. The reference angle, I called angle G, and it's equal to 39 degrees. Okay, and the hypotenuse is opposite the box, so that's the number 7. And opposite is technically opposite the reference angle. And nothing's there. And then it looks like the side left over here we'll call adjacent. That is adjacent to our reference angle, and it has a letter X. Reference angle, I called that angle M, which is 23 degrees. Our hypotenuse is the longest side, and it's opposite the box, so there's nothing there. Opposite is opposite our reference angle. So it looks like X is opposite the box, and leaving the number 6 as our adjacent side. Okay, here our reference angle is 72. Looks a little bit different. They spun that around. Our reference angle is angle W, which is equal to 72 degrees. And opposite angle T, I'd have to label hypotenuse. Nothing's there, so I'll put a question mark. Opposite our reference angle is side X, and that leaves the number 20 as our adjacent side. Now, if this is too small, you can always redraw this, and it might make you feel a little bit better that this is opposite here, this is same thing. So if it troubles you that that's a little squishy, don't forget you could make a little bit bigger and label that. Okay, so we have angle D as our reference, and it's 25 degrees. The hypotenuse, nothing. Opposite is labeled X, and the adjacent side is labeled 10. Reference angle, 46. Hypotenuse has an X. The opposite side has an 8. And now the adjacent side doesn't have anything. Okay. Reference angle is R, 46 degrees. Hypotenuse, nothing. Opposite, the number 7, and then adjacent, oh, my lights went out, sorry guys, is X. 8. Looks like this one's a little different. My reference angle now is up here at the top, so that's okay. They just spun it around. My reference angle is angle C, and it measures 54 degrees. My hypotenuse is still opposite the box, and it has a number 12 on it. The opposite side, I'll label opposite, nothing's on there, and the adjacent side happens to have an X. Okay, reference angle. Our reference angle is angle D, which is 40 degrees. And hypotenuse, which is opposite the box, 19. Opposite our reference angle is the letter X. And then this would be the adjacent side, nothing's on it. So, oh, that's interesting. So the angle's up here, but this is the side opposite that angle. This is the side adjacent to that angle, and the hypotenuse is always the longest side, which is opposite the box. Okay, keep going. Okay, now it's over there. Angle J is the reference angle, 38 degrees. This is my hypotenuse. Nothing's there. This 20 is opposite my reference angle, leaving me X, which is the adjacent side. Reference angle. Angle S is my reference angle, 16 degrees. The hypotenuse has a number 18 on it. Opposite the number 16 is the letter X. And that leaves this side, QS, as my adjacent side, and nothing's on it. So I'll just leave a little question mark there. Reference angle C, which is equal to 22 degrees. Hypotenuse has a number 34 on it because it's opposite the box. Opposite the reference angle is the letter X, and adjacent doesn't have any markings at all. This one's oriented a little bit different. My reference angle here, angle H, is 63 degrees. The hypotenuse is labeled X. My side opposite my reference angle is side GI. It is not labeled, so I'll just put a question mark. And then that leaves the number 23 must be my adjacent side because it is next to my angle. And I'll put the number 23 there. Okay, angle I. Now my reference angle is on the right, still the same type of problem, 31 degrees. I'll label this hypotenuse, nothing's on it. Opposite my reference angle is the letter X. Adjacent to my reference angle is the number 10. Got a little squishy there, so maybe that's going to trouble some folks. If so, I'm just going to make it bigger. So this is 74 degrees. Looks like this. Okay, maybe that made people feel a little bit better. Okay, so here's definitely my reference angle, P and M. Here's my reference angle, angle P, which is 74 degrees. Looks like X is my hypotenuse because it's opposite the box. Opposite the number 74, that angle is nothing. So, but I have to label it opposite and put nothing. And then adjacent to my angle, the side I haven't labeled yet, the side I seem to like to label last, is the adjacent side, ADJ. And that's numbered 18. W is my reference angle. 20 is my hypotenuse. X is the opposite side. Leaving this as the adjacent, nothing happens to be there. D is my reference angle. 22 is my hypotenuse. X is opposite my reference angle, leaving this side as my adjacent DE, and there's nothing there. Okay, last one. Looks like angle L is my reference angle. X is labeled on my hypotenuse. Opposite my reference angle, that's weird, that's the same number, that's fine. This is 37 degrees, which is an angle measurement. This is 37, like 37 inches or feet. It's a length. It's weird that's the same number, but totally fine. Opposite, 37. And then my missing last side, adjacent, nothing's there. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a good long 3-day weekend.